Hello, hello. Just wanted to say a couple things real quick, and I'm looking forward to seeing anybody who can make it out on Saturday in Studio City, Raw Junkies. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be cool, and you can have a protein drink with me if you're around. And hope to see you there. Really hope that anyone in the area can make it over there, and we'll have a good time. I promise. We'll chat. We'll talk about cool stuff. Uh, let's see. Oh, okay. So here I have an idea that should help to make things seem a little more simpler. Um, so lately, I've just noticed that some of my friends in the SV camp um, really going heavy into making Bitcoin compatible with law, which is actually kind of arbitrary. And so I think that as an individual, I think you should use your own judgment with that. Although I think that anything good and worthwhile can be done within the framework of always, the law, and that a person should never try to, a person puts himself at risk if he makes the individual choice to break a law. So I don't recommend that. However, laws are not senior to the individual. So mark that down. Laws are not senior to the individual, and they're not senior to the game. I'm going to give you a definition of law, and you can think with this. So law is the rules that the players make up to make the game go, okay? They're in hockey, you have rules. Those are the laws of hockey. And in baseball, same thing. In every game, you have rules that the players agree to and get modified over time in order to have a better game. In order to increase the playability of the game, but in the game called society, laws are there to protect an individual or a group and allow them to produce and exist, whatever it is the stated mission purpose of that group, or to allow a person enough freedom that he can pursue happiness, which is along the lines of his own personal production. And he should seek not to produce things that would harm or interfere with the production of others. And treat each other the way that they would like to be treated. That's the only workable framework of law. And law is not senior to the game. The game of life is ongoing and has been for a long time. And when people form groups, if the rules in the game of law don't apply to the broader game of life, then the law needs to be modified heavily. Law is there to serve the individual. And when it doesn't serve the individual, then people need to get together and figure out new rules to the game so they can have a better game. So laws are not arbitrarily correct. Laws are not arbitrarily just incorrect. It depends on the relationship to the individual. Okay? So, but if you're in a religious cult called SV, you're not able to judge very well. If your thinking authority tells you that everything must comply to law, which is absolutely ridiculous because laws change in every game. There's about 100 and something countries, and each one of them is their own game, and they all have their own rules based on their own past experiences. Good luck trying to comply with all that. What you do is, as an individual, when you're traveling and you're going in and out of new games and new places, you learn the rules of that game that they're playing, and if you don't like it, you don't go there, right? So that's the thing. It's like anyone who tells you that that Bitcoin should conform to the existing law is completely lost track of their own individual sense of what is the purpose of law and what is the purpose of rules in a game. Just like hockey, baseball, all these things, okay? And so I encourage you as an individual to not break laws, because most worthwhile things can be done without harming anyone and violating any laws. But if there are laws that you don't like, then you should let it be known why you don't like them, and maybe take action towards changing those rules so that you have a better game for everybody to play. Okay? But to say that law is absolute is so dogmatic that, just look at the well, you can look at what's happened to groups that have done that throughout history. It doesn't lead them down a very good road. And it eventually breaks apart the game because you create a game that all the players don't want to play anymore. So what I think is we should have laws that service the people and service the individual. So I do not at all, 0% support anything to do with using Bitcoin to create a worse game for people, such as enforcing laws onto people that are highly restrictive and actually preventing production, preventing a person from realizing his own true potential, and preventing a person from really being free to learn and do whatever he thinks is right. Because only if you're afraid of other people do you need to put a restriction on them. Deep down, when you understand people, and to allow people to be their own individual, you have to have a lot of personal strength, and you have to also know that your neighbor is, deep down, he's a good guy. So it's not anyone who says that law is senior to the game of life, or that law is senior to the individual, the player in the game. He just has a profound fear of others gaining any kind of knowledge or gaining any kind of control. He's just got you're just saying that you're afraid of empowering another person because you really don't think that he would do good. But actually, an individual is good, and only when you squish him down and force an individual to play a game that he doesn't want to play is when an individual is dangerous for you. So, individualism, please. Bitcoin Cash, please. Statism, no. Laws are fine as long as they service the game, okay? But they're not senior to the game. It's like if you go to the hockey match, the referee is there to ensure that the laws are held in place with the purpose of keeping the game together, not for the sake of enriching the referee, not for the sake of grabbing the spotlight for the referee, all that kind of stuff. It's sort of the good referee keeps the game integrity by allowing the free market to move on and only step in when there's a clear violation of certain rules. That's why I'm not an anarchist. I'm more of a minarchist, because I'm not against referees in the game, and I'm not against laws either. But I think that laws should promote maximum production, maximum individual freedom, maximal choice. And anything that goes against that shows that you're very much afraid of the power that lies deep within the individual. Okay, thanks.